It's not very often a voice actor makes an iconic impression, but the handful that are recognized do it exceptionally well. Some voice actors might only have a few roles in cartoons, but a much higher prominence in the physical acting world, whereas others might have a list of animated characters a mile long. Voice acting is not limited to film or television, but extends to the video gaming world as well. Regardless of which category they fall into, today we're talking about celebrities that you won't believe voice these popular characters. From 1950 to 2000, Charles M. Schulz wrote and illustrated the popular comic strip Peanuts, starring young Charlie Brown and his lovable beagle Snoopy. Almost a decade after the first installment of Peanuts, Charlie's younger sister Sally Brown was introduced to the strip. Between the years 1984 and 1986, Sally Brown was voiced in 2 television specials and series, The Charlie Brown and Snoopy Show, by esteemed singer-songwriter Fergie, famous both for her solo work and popular US pop and hip-hop group The Black Eyed Peas. Since her appearances in Peanuts, Fergie has also had roles in 3 episodes of The Cleveland Show and 2010 film Marmaduke. Sonic the Hedgehog's numerous iterations over the years have built up a large collection of famous voice actors, including Rob Paulsen and Jim Cummings, who have made over 1,600 appearances between them in acting roles and in commercials. A name you may be surprised to see appear on this list, however, is Steve Urkel from Family Matters, portrayed by Jaleel White, balancing both the stereotypical nerd and the speedy blue protagonist roles at the same time during the 1990s. Due to the portrayal of the clueless and geeky outcast being so convincing, White was typecast to this role and stated he found it difficult to find other work. However, he went on to have 2 more roles in the Sonic universe in the past decade, with a window left open for more roles in the franchise possible in the future. The Berenstain Bears is a lovable and educational franchise launched by Stanley and Janice Berenstain. The first book was released in 1962, and since then over 300 books following the family have been published by reputable companies such as Fisher-Price, Random House, Scholastic, HarperCollins, and more. Although some prolific voice actors are present in the 1985 series, the 2003 reboot of the Berenstain Bears has Brother Bear played by Superbad and Juno star Michael Cera, who had an active part in the show while simultaneously filming American sitcom Arrested Development. However, the actor had no problem fitting into the 5th grade soccer-loving role, as the 2003 series was one of the more well-received iterations of the Berenstain Bears since its induction in the 20th century. Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have been a fan favorite for all ages since their inception in comic book form in the early 1980s. Throughout their numerous feature films, animated series, and video games, the Turtles have attracted a range of A-list actors and voice actors for their cast, including Josh Peck, Seth Green, Johnny Knoxville, Whoopi Goldberg, and more. One more surprising and nostalgic appearance may be James Avery as the voice of Shredder in early editions of the show. Avery made himself known as the supportive and loving Uncle Phil in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air alongside a young Will Smith just 3 years after his first villainous role in the 1987 series, and later in the 1991 made-for-TV movie. Avery had also appeared as the narrator in R.L. Stine's The Nightmare Room, and as War Machine in both the Spider-Man and Iron Man series in the mid-1990s. Avery passed away at 63 in late 2013. Another long-loved family favorite is Clifford the Big Red Dog, which was launched by American author and cartoonist Norman Bridwell in the 60s. Clifford has since been a mascot for Scholastic and assisted in the publishing company's dominance of the market in the later decades of the 20th century. The television series between the years 2000 and 2003, on the other hand, boasts John Written as the voice behind the lovable canine. Amongst Written's other works are Jack Tripper in Three's Company, Ben Hanscom in the original iteration of Stephen King's It, and Ben Healy in the well-received 1990 comedy film Problem Child. The 2004 film Clifford's Really Big Movie was released after Written's death the year before, to which it was also dedicated, alongside Bad Santa and an episode of Scrubs. The Iron Giant is a sci-fi comedy drama film released in the late 1990s, starring Eli Marienthal as young Hogarth Hughes and Jennifer Aniston as his mother Annie. The movie flows through comedic, saddening, and hopeful tones smoothly as it progresses, which is expertly complemented with the assistance of the Fast and Furious headliner Vin Diesel. Born with the name Mark Sinclair, the famed and respected actor began his work on The Iron Giant 2 years before the release of his first blockbuster automobile action film. Sinclair has since appeared in all films bar the second installment in the Fast and the Furious franchise, and has continued his voice acting work in the box office successes Guardians of the Galaxy and its sequel in 2014 and 2017 as Groot, the lovable tree-like superhero. Sinclair will reprise his role as Groot in 2 upcoming Avengers films in 2018 and 2019, the first of which is scheduled to be released in early May. There have been many animated sitcoms to take over the silver screen in America and worldwide, such as The Simpsons, Futurama, South Park, and Family Guy. One unforgettable addition to these is King of the Hill, even taking a spot in Time Magazine's 100 Greatest Television Shows of All Time. With a reputation like that, it's no wonder that the show's stars have moved on to bigger and better things since the show's abrupt cancellation in 2008, despite the expansion of the show's former stars into series such as Silicon Valley and American Dad. A point to make note of is that the Hill's niece, Luann Platter, was voiced by Brittany Murphy, a prominent actress and singer. Murphy introduced herself to the stage in the 1995 film Clueless, and starred in Freeway the next year alongside Reese Witherspoon and Kiefer Sutherland. In the early 21st century, she appeared alongside Eminem in critically acclaimed film 8 Mile. While there is much speculation thrown around by fans and family of Brittany Murphy, her official cause of death in 2009 remains as pneumonia. King of the Hill didn't only feature celebrities in main roles, however. Some very noteworthy stars of the big and small screen made guest appearances over the show's 13 seasons. Tony Danza, Kid Rock, George Foreman, Henry Winkler, Gwen Stefani, and Caitlyn Jenner before her transition made cameos on the show. One you may not know, however, is Jeff Boomhauer's brother Patch, appearing in the first episode of Season 8, voiced by Hollywood A-lister Brad Pitt. Since Pitt's appearance in King of the Hill in 2003, he has also landed voice acting roles in Happy Feet 2 and Megamind. Whether it be through ear-deafening all-star memes on Instagram or a fun family movie with young children, Shrek is a versatile film franchise whose name is sure to be remembered throughout the ages. Shrek assisted greatly in the progression of DreamWorks as a household name, with the series including 4 main movies, a spin-off, and 2 holiday specials, with a 5th main film planned to be released in the next few years. The unmistakable voices of Austin Powers star Mike Myers and Nutty Professor Eddie Murphy take the spotlight for the movie's main humorous aspect. However, it is Cameron Diaz's long list of major acting parts before her role as Princess Fiona in the franchise that is most impressive. Diaz was propelled into stardom through her roles in My Best Friend's Wedding, There's Something About Mary, Charlie's Angels, The Mask, and Being John Malkovich, all before her part in the ogre-centered saga. Despite her very impressive list of awards and nominations for her various acting roles since the late 1990s, she has only 2 major nominations for her roles in the Shrek movies, and only 1 award win, that being the Wannabe Award at the Kids' Choice Awards. Compare this with 3 awards won for her performance in There's Something About Mary, 2 for Bad Teacher, and another 2 for Vanilla Sky. Cameron Diaz's performance in the Shrek films is often overlooked. The Boondocks, originating as a comic strip written by American Aaron McGruder, and now a television series for which he is an executive producer, is centered around 2 young African-American children living with their grandfather in Woodcrest, exploring American politics and African-American culture. Despite the show featuring a predominantly African-American collection of characters, the Caucasian character Gin Rummy, appearing in only a handful of the show's 55 episodes to date, is voiced by African-American actor Samuel L. Jackson. Since Jackson began acting in 1972 with his role in Together for Days, he has starred in over 100 films responsible for billions and billions in revenue at the box office. Jackson's speech is noted to be similar and parodying that of his own character Jules Winfield in one of his most well-known and critically acclaimed films, Pulp Fiction. Other films Jackson has lent his voice to are The Incredibles, Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and the Grand Theft Auto San Andreas video game. We previously mentioned Family Guy as a massively popular animated television series, with TV Guide placing the show within the top 10 greatest TV cartoons of all time. Since its inception nearly 20 years ago, the show has had its ups and downs in popularity. However, the cast and characters have remained essentially the same, and that includes Chris Griffin, played by former Buffy the Vampire Slayer actor and Robot Chicken voice actor Seth Green. While Green has remained loyal to the show, he has also had various guest appearances on many well-known series, including The X-Files, That 70s Show, Mad TV, Grey's Anatomy, My Name is Earl, and more. Family Guy's yellow counterpart, The Simpsons, has certainly had its fair share of celebrity guest stars. However, more impressive than its attraction of many celebrities is its many characters voiced by the talented Hank Azaria. Azaria is the voice behind many main, recurring, and one-time characters in the show, including Mo Sislak, Superintendent Chalmers, Quickie Mart owner Apu, Chief Clancy Wiggum, Cletus Spuckler, Kirk Van Houten, Snake, Professor Frink, and more. Some of his less recurring roles include Mr. Sparkle, the Clav Kalash vendor, Waylon Smithers Sr., and Bort, the man in the Itchy and Scratchy Land gift shop. While most of our celebrities on this list are predominantly actors, The Wild Thornberrys features the character Donnie, a feral boy raised by orangutans before being adopted by Nigel and Marianne. Donnie is voiced by the musician Michael Peter Balzari, known better by his stage name Flea, who has performed alongside Anthony Kiedis in the American funk rock band the Red Hot Chili Peppers. The band is one of the best-selling of all time and currently holds the record for the highest number of #1 singles at 13, most cumulative weeks at #1 with 85, and most top 10 singles at 25. The Wild Thornberrys cast also includes Tim Curry, Lacey Chabert, and Jody Carlisle. Since 2001, Scooby-Doo has cast Gray Delisle as Daphne Blake for both direct-to-video films and television series What's New Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, and Be Cool Scooby-Doo. However, she also has a long and impressive list of voice acting roles in video games. Mortal Kombat X, Bayonetta, True Crime, Star Wars, and Diablo 3 are just the tip of the iceberg. Delisle also voices Catwoman in numerous DC-based video games, Mystique in 2 X-Men games, and deuteragonist Dr. Elizabeth Veronica Darling in Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. The Scooby-Doo franchise also features voice actor Frank Welker, who has voiced both Fred Jones and Scooby-Doo himself since 1979. The 71-year-old veteran actor has also had recurring roles in Garfield series and films, both as minor characters and Garfield himself. But his roles as lovable animals in cartoons don't stop there. He voiced Santa's Little Helper, Snowball 2, Snorky the Dolphin, and others in The Simpsons, and the memorable Seymour in Futurama. The episode Jurassic Bark tells the story of Fry's dog Seymour from before Fry was frozen. The final minutes of the episode are some of the most emotional in animated history, and the episode was nominated for the 2003 Emmy Award for Outstanding Animated Program, and has been voted as of 2013 as the #1 Futurama episode overall by fans during the Fanorama Marathon.